1.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Level With You show. It is a video game podcast where we get together every week and talk about, you guessed it, video games. My name is Wiley Olmstead, and today I am joined by Kenny Castro.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Anthony Dewart.
I have bad posture.
And my man over there, Tyler Hadley.
I am the Domino King.
Okay, let's stop that.
So, this weekend...
And not the pizza place.
They are good, though, because they put garlic on their crust. and I do
Garlic
like that.
crust.
They really did improve once
They
they
did.
started doing that.
Yes. I see. I'm glad you agree, because most people are like, I like the garlic.
It still destroys my stomach. But
Oh, yeah,
I love eating it.
Yeah, I like it, and I eat 3 slices, and then I don't feel bad.
I finish a box and then
Because those pizzas, like, you get a medium, it's like, what, I don't know,
They're, like,
7, 8?
small,
You
and
can
I'm
kill
like,
that
oh,
whole
Yeah,
thing
you
yourself.
certainly can.
I'm like,
but-
this is a personal size.
It is. Any other place would be a personal size.
So, we had a very fun barbecue at Kenny's place on Saturday. Thanks for hosting.
Thank you for coming.
On the grill for a straight, 4 hours.
As I could tell you, people are piecing together the day for me.
Yes.
Because by the time you guys showed up, I recollect moments and pieces of what happened.
Yeah, you
throughout the
got a
day.
little rowdy there.
I guess I was.
Yeah.
it's a
I'm
good
pretty
day.
sure there might be a video on Tyler's phone of me extremely rowdy on the
Yeah.
Domino
Oh,
table.
yeah. Let's roll that.
Oh, yeah.
Play that clip here.
Stay tuned. Maybe it'd be at the end of the show. I don't know. It's up to Tyler.
I hope it's just Kenny walking around the yard going, Pong!
I don't know what I was saying, but I was sitting at the domino table and I was just being belligerent and loud, and all I saw was Tyler recording.
You were.
And I wasn't stopping. I was
You were
being
honestly
rant.
making me a little uncomfortable.
Let's see, like, what? Hey, what? It's Mortal Kombat, huh?
There were a couple times where I suggested it. Let's go inside and settle this. Okay.
I bet you Kenny was like, let's say more Sub-Zero, let's go.
If he did, I don't remember at all.
Yeah.
You
well,
could have came in here and said that you beat me at MK, and I'm like, fuck. And I was like, when the fuck did that happen?
He was trying to take advantage of you.
I did beat you as Can Jam a couple times, as I said.
Yes, I remember
Despite
that.
your incessant cheating.
What you mean? I don't remember cheating. I remember my partner sucking. Yeah, Rob, I'm talking about you.
I'm bad at physical sports.
Yeah. Well.
I think you could have been better at Kenny on Sunday.
Yeah. I was on Sunday, not Saturday. That's correct.
I don't know, I mowed my lawn instead, and I was really tired, and then went grocery shopping.
Sounds like a.
Sucked.
Less
I
fun.
should have been at the barbecue.
Yeah, you totally should have.
I would have had good food and not had my hands all hurt now. But it's good because I mowed the lawn. We have a push mower. It's a lot of work. It was a good workout.
Yeah,
I've never actually used one without a motor. Like, what's it like?
It had I found this out later that it had a little motor on the side, and I was like, oh, I wonder what this little lever on the side for the turtle and the rabbit means. And I was like, I'll figure it out later. Turns out that's the thing that pushes it for you.
Oh, wow.
So it would have been a lot less work, but it's
Oh, jeez.
a good workout.
That's
I
it.
need it. I'm getting.
Newbie mistake.
Oh yeah, I just left the basement. I gotta grow into it. I gotta
I
grow
like that
into
they're
it.
already putting you to work at the new house with all right, it's your day to mow the lawn.
I
No
was like,
excuses.
I'll take it first. So that way I don't have to worry about it for another 4 weeks. So then,
Oh, okay, there's 4 of you.
yeah. So I'll be like, I'm gonna do this first. I'm gonna select myself, and then hopefully I won't have to for another 4 weeks unless one of the girls decides to be a bitch about it. But I don't think they will. Hopefully.
All right, so we are a weekly video game podcast. You can find us every Wednesday on YouTube as well as podcast services. We're on iTunes, we're on Podcast Addict, we're on Spotify. If you could leave us a review, we'd really appreciate it. Positive ones especially.
It really helps the boys out.
It really helps us out, yes.
Every day's a waking nightmare.
And please leave a comment in the YouTube video with questions, and you'll be read on the air next week for our mailbag segment. Or you can message us or however you want to get in touch. But we'd love to feature you. Okay, guys, so what we've been playing. I know that you got the new Kill la Kill game.
I ditched the party halfway through Friday because I wanted to play Kill la Kill so bad.
I know the feeling.
But it was fun. Kenny and I played our first round. The only thing that was kind of annoying was I don't like it. It's kind of annoying when a game you start off right away. You're like, cool, I got me and my friend are here. We're gonna play. It's a nice fighting game. But then it's like, oh, you gotta play through the first episode of story mode before you
can do multiplayer?
Play multiplayer.
That's
yeah,
stupid.
that's what it did. But we were being both fans of the series. We're just like, oh wow, they did it. The presentation's awesome. It's just like Arc System Works has a way of nailing their like anime aesthetic, or pretty much emulating it from like their other series. There's BlazBlue they worked on, which is amazing. Guilty Gear, Xrd, or the newer ones, which just nail that style.
Do they do Dragon Ball?
They did, yep. And they also did Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is, oh my god, the aesthetics in that game amazing.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah,
Fighters Z.
They also did the Persona 4 Arena.
And they did Persona 4 Arena. They have that. Have you seen that the actual arcade cabinet at Round 1 yet?
No.
They have. It's all Japanese, which is crazy. But they have the Persona 4 Arena at this local arcade. It's
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
So what kind of game is it? Give people some background.
It's like a. I want to say it's the 3D fighter, but it's a 3D fighter in like a open arena space. But imagine using like if you can equate to like Dragon Ball Fighter Z like character sprites or models, and running around, and it's all kind of like stilted animation, but it looks good. It's very frame by frame, so you can tell which pose and what the character's doing. But it's not like super fluid. Nothing's like very smoothed out. It's very choppy, but it works very well because I think with the style that they're trying to emulate, it goes together.
How many characters are there?
Right now, I've only unlocked. There's not many characters, but you can choose different modes for them. Like the main character, halfway through the series, spoilers, she gets a dual blade, so you can switch between like a second character. You can hover over her icon, and you could be like, "Oh, Ryoko normal" or "Ryoko dual wield,"
Okay.
and you can do that with a couple characters with their different forms.
How is the story mode?
It's great. It's It's a new take on the series. If anyone's seen Kill la Kill, it kind of deviates halfway through the main series. It's like I forget episode like maybe 10 or so. It kind of like goes a different path of the actual events that took place, and I'm only maybe like 6 or 7 fights into it, but maybe the fourth, I think it's like the third or fourth fight they put you in is it's like, okay, here's you, and now there's 2 other guys you have to kill or you have to like beat. So have fun doing that. And at first I was like, oh, okay, and I got totally wrecked, and then the second try was a little bit better because it was just not just like don't go in and button mash. You can guard. You've got this other chick over there shooting lasers at you, but you can only target one person at a time. You can't switch targets unless you disengage, run around, and like try to focus your attacks on the other person.
Okay.
It was a little annoying, but it was pretty cool. It's a nice concept.
Nice. So what are the button inputs like? Is it like a very intensive like button memorization thing, or is it more like Smash and Dragon Ball Fighters?
It's a little in between because you can memorize the combos pretty easily because it's like you get your standard like XXY. Like I think Y is all ranged, X is close range. If you hold L and then one combination of like Y, X, or A, I have it on the Switch. You do one of your specials, and your specials go from like close range to long range, and then there's one where you can just do like it's an interrupter, like a counter special. So if they're trying to attack you, you can like shoot that off, and it'll disrupt them, and you'll get like a damage bonus.
Nice. Did you play any of this the other night?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. In the style of the fighter and the 3D, fighting style, it reminded me of My Hero 1's Justice.
Yeah.
In that sense that you were kind of over the back left shoulder of one character, kind of, and just looking kind of diagonal to
So
the
how did they do that in multiplayer?
multiplayer is still like that,
So is it split screen?
Nope, it's like whoever's closer to the camera
Yeah.
is like
Oh.
who it focuses on, but it can
whose
switch at
shoulder
any
it's over,
time.
Yeah, it'll switch. It'll switch back and forth between who's closest to the camera. But honestly, at no point in time did I feel like it really bothered that one fight we had because we didn't really play too much against each other. I did the first episode of the story before we hopped in, so that was decent, greatly animated, and we hopped in and it was very fun. I'll tell you. I was drinking, so I was kind of struggling.
It's just because I had to come back. It's okay.
I had to throw an excuse in there. But he did make the comeback and beat me. But it was fun. I liked it. IGN reviewed it horrible, and I don't think it deserved the 5.3 that they gave it.
Yeah, but it's been mixed. I've heard some positive stuff too. I listened to the Bombcast last week. Ben Pack was pretty positive on it, so that made me intrigued to give it a try. And it's just one man's opinion. It's not
Exactly.
everybody at IGN.
Yeah. I could see somebody who's like coming in, say, from like a fan of the series, a fan of Kill la Kill, versus like say a fan of like, oh, I love BlazBlue and like they've done Dragon Ball Fighter Z, but I haven't watched any of Kill la Kill, like coming in to play it. Whereas the Kill la Kill fan will be like, oh wow, this is amazing, or like how we were on the couch where they did such a great job of replicating the scenes from the anime already played out, like in their style. It was like, oh, this is great, and then their own story, which is amazing in the way they model the characters and the actions. Whereas somebody who comes in from like just on aesthetics alone or their past games, I'm like, oh, it's a new fighting game by this studio that I really like their fighting games. And then jumping in and being like, oh, well, I gotta play story mode first. Okay, well, I'll do that. And then being like, okay, well, I don't know any of these characters. Why are they talking so much? I think the opening is like maybe 10 minutes of cutscenes.
Oh yeah, completely.
It's a lot of cutscene at first. So somebody being like, well, okay, all right.
I didn't read the reviews, so I don't know if they were actually like newcomers or not. But
Yeah, but I could definitely see it being like a big turnoff for people who aren't fans of Kill la Kill. Like popping in and being like, oh, what is this? Oh, this is the anime game. You just gotta sit and watch cutscenes for 4 hours. Which a lot of it is cutscenes. Like a lot of the story mode is just you're gonna be sitting there watching. Because it's like another episode.
Does it have anything beyond cutscene? I mean, beyond the story mode for single player play?
There's a bunch of different scenarios for single player. Other than that, there's like free battle. I'm hoping they'll put some more modes in and characters with DLC. I know Nintendo's been really good with, giving out free DLC for certain games like Splatoon or I know Smash hasn't gotten many free updates, but
Yeah, they make you pay for that shit.
yeah, anything. I mean, it'd be pretty cool just to even see what they would do for DLC. Because I mean, it is a series that only lasts like I think it's like 24, 25 episodes.
24 episodes.
24 episodes.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's like it ends. It wraps everything up. But this is like being touted as like, oh, if like a what if scenario. So it's like they tout it as being promoted as like another episode or another scenario, like with supervised by the studio who animated the show, Trigger. So it's being thrown for that. So if you like the game, or if you like the series, you like the game.
You know who I would like as a DLC character in that game?
Who?
The dad.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
And have
dad.
him. Yeah, have him.
Dad.
I forget his name, but
Professor
maybe.
Montoy. Yeah.
Professor
Yeah.
Mato. Have him with the scissor blade.
That would be pretty cool.
I think that'd be dope.
And the guy in the cave, or the newest beach guy with the guns.
And then the other one I
Oh,
would say
like the real dad.
the real
Yeah.
dad.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like the stepfather guy or what the father to the other girl.
No, they're both fathers.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the father that the main character lives with.
Oh no, not him. No.
Oh, the professor guy. Oh no,
you mean the
fat guy,
foster
Mako's
the
mom.
foster dad? Like
Yeah.
Kenny was talking about her real dad.
Yeah.
I was talking about the foster dad.
Yeah, the doctor guy, right? Mako's dad?
Yep.
The fat guy?
Yeah.
He's awesome.
He is
He'd
awesome,
be great.
but he
That's
would,
what I was like. It's
Yeah.
like, damn.
Like,
I want him. He'd be cool.
right.
That'd be really sweet.
I would take her best friend, but after she gets the
Yeah, she gets the
the
JoJo
Gokai- the
knockoff
Gokai.
outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, that was sweet.
That was awesome.
I would take her as a DLC as
Like the
well.
ballistic cap and everything.
Yeah, she had the big old cap and the baseball bat.
Yep.
So good.
You got to check out the anime, Wiley.
Yeah,
I
you
will.
should
It's
definitely
on
watch it.
high on the priority list. After getting married and stuff.
That's important things first.
It's
So you
a-
gotta watch the
It's a quick
honeymoon
one.
at time.
Just watch it while you're walking down the aisle.
Exactly.
Multicast. That's what Google Glass is for.
Oh man. All right, so that's Kill la Kill. That's a $60 game.
Yeah, it was 60.
Okay. Well,
Man, I would recommend probably waiting a little bit, but I wanted it really bad.
I hear you.
I went in to get a Digivice Tamagotchi and walked out with Kill la Kill.
They
Can we move on from that? Tyler, did you want to add anything to the Kill la Kill discussion?
No, I didn't really play it at all. So
I did really like your reaction when you walked in the room for downstairs when you saw me and Kenny playing it, because I was playing as this huge, like, armored buff ninja guy, and Kenny was playing as, like, the main character, and Tyler just walks in and goes, "Whoa, the size differences!" Because the characters were crazy different in size. He's like, what is this?
it was super
It
ridiculous.
was awesome.
That's funny.
That's a little highlight.
So I started a game this week. It's super not relevant, but I picked it up. I think we mentioned it on the show. It was on sale for $6 about a month ago. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, this is a game when it came out, got all types of shit because of its terrible monetization with its leveling up and its
Loot boxes.
and its loot boxes and it's
I tried.
It's pay to win BS. So that's what kept me away from it. I think that the game has kind of fostered a pretty decent community after I know that your roommate plays it.
Plays it all the time.
There's a
I
new
don't know if
mode.
he's using it.
There's a new mode called Capital Supremacy, which is like a very big control point. Lots of AI characters as well as human characters. Kind of makes it kind of has a Battlefield-esque feel to it. And I've watched some of that, and it actually looks really neat. So I decided to jump into the campaign, and I am pretty mixed on it. I am super impressed with the production value. I kind of forgot how expensive this game was, and it's got incredible motion capture. It's got really good performances. The gameplay, it's a first-person shooter. You kind of choose a loadout, so you pick a gun either at the beginning of the level or when you die, which really drastically changes up your play style. And then you have a second gun that you can equip with R1, but it's on a cooldown. Right now I've been using a shotgun. I think you also could have an ability if you'd prefer. On L1 there's another ability, and then if you do L1 and R1 together there's a third ability. I found the shooting to be pretty satisfying. I mean, the game has, and I think that this is because of their limitations, like as far as being violent, but like there's kind of bad hit detection, so you'll be shooting a guy 3 times and he won't like recoil in pain or anything. You'll be like, am I hitting him? But then you hit him 3 times and he's dead. But it strikes a good difficulty balance. Like there's situations where you actually have to go in and think, do I want to swarm in here? Do I want to lay back and use one of my abilities? I'm playing on normal. I was surprised by how much of a decent challenge it's been at times. I've definitely died a handful of times. I will say that like the body count in this game is a little bit like it takes me out of the Star Wars feel a little bit, and I know that there's a redemption arc coming for the main character. You play as a somebody from the Empire, and it's just a little hard for me to convince that like she's literally slaughtered at this point like probably close to 100 or 150 rebels like with her shotgun. And there's one part where you're like breaking into a base and it gets like super violent, and I was dying at this one part like 7 times because you load into it, it goes from space battle to inside a ship, and you're just like, as soon as you're loading in, you're blasting everybody to hell, and you hear people screaming like, oh my god, I'm burning, like this is Star Wars. And I kept dying there, so I was like, it became a little grating to hear the death screen where I was just hearing this yelling and screaming. I was like, this is not my Star Wars. This is too violent.
You're like, oh, this is cool at first. I'm really immersed in the experience. And then it's just like, okay, I get it. You're dying. I don't care.
Yeah. But then there's a twist halfway through the game, and I won't say it because people still want to play it. It's a pretty neat little level. I don't know if it's going to revert back to that. But to me, it's giving me the feel of like a game that is a perfect blockbuster rental back in the day. You know, like one of those games where you're just like, it got maybe 6s or 7s. It's a movie license game. You're gonna have a fun weekend with it. So like, I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would, and I haven't even touched the online, which is the meat of the game.
Well, that's good, and you got a good price for it. So
yeah, totally. I mean, and it's the game does a pretty good job of preparing you for online play with the way that it makes you use the different loadouts. You can kind of it has a feeling that this is like kind of a single player game thrown into a multiplayer game, but it's got such high production value that it makes up for it. So yeah, that's my time with that. Anyway, that talked for a little while. What about you, Kenny?
Oh, no, you talk pretty well. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned it because I forgot that I bought it. No, completely. Because I know me and you, we talked about it. We're like, let's pick it up.
Yeah.
We picked it up, and then it was like huge download, and then my hard drive went to shit.
100 gigabytes.
Exactly.
That's gross.
Like we were like,
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna hop on, and then me and Wadi were like, it's gonna take 3 hours. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So and then my hard drive went to shit. So then I haven't reinstalled it.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm like, shit, I have this in my library. I should install it and check out the story because I love Star Wars. So I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're a fan of the series, like it takes place like right at the end of Return of the Jedi. So there's some neat, and this is supposedly canon, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You get to see what happens kind of the first few months after that, or first weeks. I don't know. I haven't finished it, but I'd say probably I'm a little more than halfway. That's what it feels like.
Okay.
So yeah, I played that. I am now officially liking Dragon Quest XI.
Yay!
We knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah, so-
No, that's the Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's the wrong one.
It's almost. You know,
No, it's
almost.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Similarities.
Yes, I do get a little tired of that theme, but
It'll grow on you. Don't worry.
yeah, no, it's fine. And now that there's 5 players in the party, and now there's more good banter in between the characters, I'm starting to get a little bit more intrigued about this rainbow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, go get it.
Yeah, gotta
The
go get that
rainbow.
rainbow. It's predictable, but it's fun, and it's more and more endearing as I get more accustomed to the characters. And now the battles are. I still have yet to die, but like I'm having to strategize a little bit more. And this is a game where when you die, you don't start at the beginning of the battle. You kind of don't usually have to actually like
You gotta reload your save.
reload your save, which is
Yep.
kind of old fashioned, but that's Dragon Quest for you. So I'm
Granddaddy.
still gonna keep plugging along with that. Give it a few hours per week, maybe finish it come Christmas time.
There you go.
So yeah, no rush with that, but I'm having fun with it.
That's a good call. That's a good way to take it.
Yeah.
Nice and relaxing. Enjoy it.
Yeah,
Soak up the experience.
It's my game that I can play when I lie down.
Yes. Very.
What party are you using mostly?
Well, so I still only have 5 characters. So
Well.
I mean, I'm swapping in Sylvando and what's his name? Eric, mostly.
Who do you like least so far? Who's your like least favorite character?
From a battle perspective, or from a
Both.
let's see. Well, I like all of the characters. So in the party, I guess if I had to pick a least favorite, it would probably be what's her name's the green, the one in the
Serena?
green, Serena.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's okay. She's just kind of your generic sweet princess type that heals you.
Yeah, the generic white mage, you know.
Yeah. But Sylvando has added a funny dynamic. Tyler, you were correct
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
Sylvana's great.
He's great. He's a good guy.
So he's the traveling jester, and he's got kind of a flamboyant accent, and
He only gets better.
Oh,
It
yeah.
only gets way better
It
with
definitely
him.
gets so much better.
Yeah.
I actually like him so much more in the second half of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He only gets better.
so there must be some
His character arc is
arc.
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody
Nice.
gets their nice little
Yeah.
almost double character arcs, like the initial meeting and then like halfway through the game.
Okay, cool.
Another set.
So in addition to that, I was so into Evo this weekend, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in a bit. But I downloaded Tekken 7,
Woo.
for
Nice.
$14.99. It was on sale, so
Nice.
can't argue with that. And while I was watching Evo on Friday night, I had that on one monitor, and I was playing Tekken Story Mode on another one. And I ended up playing through the entire story mode in one sitting.
Oh wow.
Which, I guess it took maybe 4 or 5 hours or something.
How was it?
Reel it out.
The story, to be honest, I thought was, as somebody that has no history with the series except for playing 3 back in the day with friends, it was bad.
That's about what I would
the
figure for that.
story was just incomprehensible, and it was kind of comical in times, trying to be so self-serious and not really hitting on the notes that I felt that it was going for. Like somewhere in between, like there's this reflective journalist that's the narrator trying to kind of make a human connection between these bombastic characters and the viewer or the player, and I just thought his parts seemed really overly sentimental and sappy, and then to be honest, I was skipping cutscenes by the end. I was just playing the game, and the gameplay though, after coming from so much Mortal Kombat, took some getting used to, but I finally got kind of over the hump a little bit. I stopped hitting R2 to block. You have to hit back to block, like in most Japanese fighting games. It's certainly easier to pull off combos in this game than it is in a Mortal Kombat. It requires less timing, exactness. Not saying that there's not as high of a skill ceiling. I'm sure there probably is, but it feels a little bit like you're punching through, like, and I'm biased because I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan, and it's every hit is so staccato. You can really feel the. In this, you don't get that same solid smack, so the battles don't feel as visceral, and that's might keep me from getting really into it, but I'm still going to continue to give it another shot, play through the arcade modes and stuff. I've probably only tried like 6 out of the 28 characters, so I've very scratched the surface as far as that goes, but
Was it like a one overall story mode, or did you have to do different character story modes?
So there is like a story mode, and then there's the traditional arcade modes too, which I can't remember if they have like a little ending cutscene or something.
Yeah.
But during the story mode, you mostly play as like maybe 4 or 5 characters. It centers around Heihachi, Jin, Nina, and a couple other people. I can't remember their names.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not near as it's not nearly as good as Mortal Kombat story mode, but it's a fun game. I want to give it more of a chance after watching some. I still need to go back and watch some of the Tekken Evo stuff, but so yeah, that's what I've been playing this week.
Tyler, you do anything with controllers?
No, not so much. I played some more Rocket League, and then I got mad at Rocket League, and then I put down Rocket League.
It's a vicious cycle.
Huh. Well, what's been your favorite anime
This week.
this week?
I got my regular animes that I go back and forth to every Tuesday. Is Black Clover, Every when does Fire Force come out? Thursday,
Fire
or
Force is
Friday?
Friday.
Friday is Fire Force. Saturday is Doctor Stone.
Wow.
Yeah, they got a pretty-
Anything that you're just in the middle of binging?
No, nothing that I'm in the middle of binging.
Have you caught up in Black Clover yet?
Oh yeah, I'm all caught up.
Nice. I just watched the newest episode today. It's tight.
Nice.
And Black Clover is just the new Naruto. I said it. It's it. Black Clover is just the new Naruto.
No, Black Clover is the new fairy tale.
Fairy Tale Naruto. It's like the whole like I want to be the king of whatever and pirates, wizards, whatever, and then it's like I'm gonna be Hokage, but I'm a upstart brat who's got something secret inside him that comes out and makes me OP when I need it to be.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
for
it's the same
Naruto,
premise.
fairy tale,
Yeah.
Black Clover,
You call them shonens, right?
My
Yeah.
Hero.
My Hero, yep, shonen anime.
Cool. Yeah, I still got. Wish I watched first, My Hero Academia or Kill la Kill.
Ooh, Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill because
Kill
it's
la Kill
short,
is
right?
shorter,
Yeah,
yeah.
way shorter. You can get that and then enjoy it and then
Then
join
play
the hype
game
train.
with you guys. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what have you been up to, Kenny?
So I have been engulfed with Madden 20,
Oh.
and we kicked off the league on Saturday.
Sports.
Yep.
Sports.
So who's your best player?
So far in the league,
Me.
me.
You? You're a creative player?
Oh no, I'm well. Like you mean the best player on my team?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, Alvin Kamara.
Oh.
And I'm afraid because we have injuries on. So game 2 of the season, I think he got hit by the middle linebacker, and it was like he's out for the game, but a hit pointer, and I was like,
So do you have your friends like trying to purposely injure your players?
so I haven't had a user game, yet, but people are already like, yo, when I play you, I'm injuring Drew Brees, I'm injuring.
So he's your quarterback?
Calling you out.
So because it's not a draft, so it was straight up rosters. So I have the Saints. So I have Drew Brees. I got Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas.
Oh,
Right
okay,
now-
so you were just playing as the Saint. Okay,
as the
I thought
Saints.
this was some more convoluted mode. Where
No, because
I'm thinking of the card version, right?
yeah, the card version is Ultimate Team. So
okay.
that I'm playing that, and that's fun on its own right now. But right now I'm more focused on the league because we were able to get 16 users.
Oh hell yeah!
16 users. We're on the Discord app. It's rolling. I thought I was killing it, but whoever has the Browns is killing it with Baker Mayfield. He's thrown already across 3 games for 1,300 yards, 10 passing touchdowns. Has rushed for 3 touchdowns with him, so he's doing pretty good.
That's stupid.
But he lost his 3rd game, so he's like 2-1 right now. I'm 3-0, and I've passed for almost 1,100 yards with Drew Brees.
So what are you still in the preseason?
No, we're in the season.
So how does it work with the user games?
So the user game, user versus user games, we have. That's why we got the Discord up. They have to set it up with each other.
Oh.
So they have to talk to each other and be like, hey, when are you gonna be on?
Are there higher stakes for the user games, or is it just the
So
same?
we're just rolling. It's like a regular season. So there's no higher stakes. It's just that it's harder because
You're playing a real person.
you're not playing another person. Because sometimes the computer, it will adjust. I will say the computer if you're running the same play, it'll adjust on you, and you'll either fumble, or it'll make you pay for using the same play. You'll fumble, or you'll get picked off.
Does everybody have to play on the same difficulty?
Oh yeah, so the league is set to 1 difficulty.
Oh,
They
okay.
can't change the difficulty. They can't adjust nothing of the game sliders.
Okay.
Only the commissioners can. So me and Ace were the commissioners.
What difficulty you got it on?
All pro.
That's like the standard, right?
Standard competitive difficulty, because if you put it on all Madden and they play a user versus user game, you really don't see whether or not they're good, because then their computer is on a crazy difficulty and they could close in and pretty much pick off the ball, and they did nothing to do that. All pro forces you to, if you want to pick it off, you have to user that pick.
Oh, okay.
You got to use that interception, and if not, the chances are they're gonna catch it. The offense is gonna catch it, so it forces you to actually be good. In all pro.
So are you feeling that it is an improvement over 19?
Big time. Actually, this is the best Madden in the last 4 years. I would
Wow.
say.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of the fake stuff from the last 2 Maddens, where the middle linebacker can just jump 10 yards away from be 10 yards away from the ball and just close the gap in an instant and pick and intercept the ball, that's gone. That was a little annoying that they could just close space within like an instant. Mm-hmm. So it's more realistic. If they're out of position, they're not picking off the ball. The running feels a lot more fluid this year, and they added a couple new features. Still haven't experimented too much with the superstar factor, so I don't know how that really messes with
I was hearing
gameplay.
about that on another show. What's that? So like, there's certain players that have these perks or
Yes,
something
they have these perks so that you have to do certain things to activate them. You know?
that's pretty funny. Like somebody will be super clutch in the fourth quarter, so they'll like barely miss a pass or something.
Exactly. Like, so you would have to activate his clutch factor. You'd have to pass 5 times consecutively without an incompletion to activate that one.
Everything's got to be an RPG these days.
You know,
It's true.
they're creeping in the RPG elements into everything. It gives more
So
more
are
to
you?
the game.
The game doesn't have really well, at least it doesn't have a substantial story mode. That's what I've heard.
No.
So there's Long Shot, which started in 18, I believe.
I don't even know if Long Shot's even back.
Yeah,
this
it's
time around.
not.
No. They have Face of the Franchise. That's what they're calling like the created player.
Okay.
Yeah, Face of the Franchise. I haven't really messed with that yet.
That's for the non-serious Madden players.
Yeah, so I'm all about the Ultimate Team, playing against other people, talking junk, and running this league and trying to become the Super Bowl champ by the end of it. I already have one person. We should be, by the time we're done recording the podcast tonight, we should be advancing the league into week 4.
Okay.
And week 4, I have my first user-to-user game, and I'm trying to.
You have to play a certain amount of user-to-user games because that seems
No.
fair to me.
So you don't. So unfortunately, depending on what team everybody picks, and it's the schedule. It's the actual schedule for the season.
Oh.
So you can legit look at the schedule and be like, oh, maybe I should be this one because that's gonna give me the most user games. You know?
That's weird. So what if a person isn't available? Does somebody get left way behind?
No, because you can't advance the week
Okay, you
without
can.
everybody playing their games. But if somebody is dodging them purposely, we're just gonna give the person who was willing and ready for their game the win. We could hand the win out.
So much power
Yeah, you know.
for the commish.
Yeah, you know it. And so far, what we realized was previous leagues we try to do, what kills the league is the ridiculous trades between users and computers. So we banned that.
Oh, nice.
So they can only trade between users,
Fair enough.
and even those trades have to be approved by the commissioners.
Oh,
know?
damn.
That's very efficient.
Because
That's just like
let's say
real
if they're
life.
let's say they're trying to trade Odell Beckham because they're losing and they got the Browns and they're 0-10, but their best friend is about to go into the playoffs and they want to trade Odell for, you know,
See,
a shitty lineman.
I don't think that should be just a commissioner choice. That should be a league choice.
Well,
That
they have to-
The other users should be able to veto it.
This
It
isn't a
shouldn't be
democracy, Tyler.
It shouldn't be based on just two people.
Well, they have the option to give their outcry and opinion about it because they're supposed to be talking about all trades should be talked about in the Discord app because we have a section for trades.
Yeah.
And for complaints,
Well, no,
formal
refer to
complaints against the
subsection.
Well,
commissioner.
the
RLA.
general section of the Discord. You want to complain about the commission? Go ahead.
Can you
What-
take a knee in Madden 20?
Yeah, you can.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, what? You mean like pregame? You mean pregame? I don't know. Like me in the game?
No,
yeah,
like
you
during
can-
the national anthem and get like
Oh, they don't
banned
even-
by your team.
You know what they do?
Flag.
They don't even do the
Press
national
X
anthem.
to
You don't
kneel.
see any of that.
Really?
Nah.
Did they used to?
At one point in time, I think like maybe 6 Maddens ago. Like,
Huh. Interesting.
and by now, it just jumps you straight into the game. Like you start the game, and they might talk for like 2 seconds, and you're already doing the kickoff. You don't even get to pick heads or tails. You don't even get to pick
Seems odd.
which way you want to, if you want to receive or kick.
'Cause if you don't start the game in 2K, you get kind of a real like pregame show, and it's very.
I think Madden players just want in the game. They don't want the pregame show. They don't want all this stuff. Just in the game.
Yeah,
You set your preferences. If you prefer to always kick it off, and you always, if you're always gonna pick tails, you could set those settings ahead of time.
I can't believe you thought I meant just in the
Oh
game.
yeah,
Can
in
you
game.
take-
I'm like, yeah.
Can you curl up into a ball and roll around the field like Sonic yet? Because once they put that in, I'm getting mad.
Oh yeah, not yet, not
That
yet.
would,
No
be a
Sonic
good
in it.
feature. Just everybody turn into Metroid balls.
If they bring back NFL Street, that might be in there.
Ooh, that'd be sweet. That's the only
Right.
football
Was
game
that-
I've
was
ever
that
like
good?
played.
NFL Street, yeah.
Yeah.
NFL Street was great, and NBA Streets was
Well, that
also
I
great.
absolutely loved. I played the
man.
shit out of 1 and 2.
2 was amazing with the I had the Monstars, so like the Yeti, and what was the other guy? You know,
The Monstars from like.
oh
Space
no,
Jam?
not Space Jam, but I call them the Monsters.
Oh,
It
okay.
was like a abominable snowman. It was a Yeti,
Oh,
I think.
oh,
Like
yeah.
the secret
Like they had
modules.
ridiculous ratings, and I would play with them all the time. I'd invite people over, like, yeah, who you gonna play?
Yeah.
You still remember how
I
to,
got the monsters.
you remember how to do the move dinner is served?
No, I don't.
You just hold R2 and L2 and the dunk button, I'm pretty sure, and then you
Most likely.
throw it off the backboard.
That's actually a game because you don't have the PS2 in the game room. That's a game I want to pick up.
Oh yeah.
I
for
think
sure.
it's in the $25 to $30 range online.
I used to own it, and now who knows? Oh, maybe I still do. Maybe I still have the first one actually. I definitely don't have two, which was even better, but one's still great.
Listen, I look back. I got rid of my PS2 with like 45 games.
Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker. I got rid of the 360 with 100 games.
Whoa.
I look back at the systems I sold off with all the games, and I'm like, what a fucking
Yeah.
idiot.
Heartbreaking.
My worst is the GameCube. I only had like 20 games, but now
But
that those
they're like
games are super valuable.
Super valuable
Yeah.
must have.
That's why you gotta buy those Wii U games now before the same thing happens. You gotta buy
Yeah.
those Wii U games up.
That's a good point.
I don't think
I-
that's gonna happen to the Wii U though.
Really? You don't think so?
No.
I mean, because that's got everything like, rarer consoles. It's a really shitty lifespan. They had some pretty quality, like, hidden gem titles out for it.
A lot of them have been ported to Switch,
Yeah, it's true. A lot of them.
but like who knows? Maybe Pikmin 3 will be worth $50
That's
in 10
true.
years. I don't know.
It was hard to find a physical copy even like a month after it released.
I have it.
Ooh. See, I think that's probably gonna be rare. Definitely that.
Maybe.
That Fire Emblem game for it. Fire Emblem
yeah.
Shin Megami. I gotta get that.
Anything else besides Madden?
Honestly, no. Between Madden and the Cookout, I was completely Kill a Kill, but we talked about that already.
Oh yeah, true.
You know,
So I know we've been talking about games for a while now, but I can't skip out on you for this one, Anthony. What do you think of your opening hours with Fire Emblem Three Houses?
It's good. I was actually as right now. I mean, I think my mind is just so preoccupied by beating completely Persona 5
Oh, okay.
that I was just like, okay, this is I started Fire Emblem, was good. I picked my first house. I chose the Black Eagles because everybody in it looks pretty interesting and it has some of the cutest girls.
That's what I've heard.
So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna pick
I heard
you.
that on a thread. It's like, yeah, pick them if you want waifus.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what I did. I was like, you're cool. The other guy I thought was cool was the Golden Deer guy, the bow guy.
That's my
he was
guy.
He was really cool. I was like, I like you. You got a cool personality. You're snarky, and it was good. It's typical Fire Emblem. It's nice. I'm excited to see where it goes. I like the professor aspect of it. The big things everyone's been talking about. That other teacher's really hot. What's her name? It's like Margarita, not Margarita. It's some really like
Tequila.
Tequila. She's got like a really exotic sounding name, and she's like an older professor. But they draw her super hot, and I'm like, I want to play as you in my squad.
Cosmopolitan.
Can I order you a cosmopolitan and dry martini, ma'am?
Margarita.
But I don't think she's available. But I did like it. I just wasn't like. I usually know if I'm going to get really back into a game after the one or two times I pick it up and put it back down. And if the draw for me to go back to it is like, yeah, I really want to when can I go home and play Fire Emblem? Where can I go get back to this game? But I think I'm just so because I know I'm fairly close to beating Persona 5 and it's just getting so good and I put 110 hours in so far. I just want to get to the end.
Finish it.
Yeah, finish it.
I'm so excited.
Oh, you know what would be fun? Maybe
Next Palace is
do a
actually
sp-
kind of long.
Do a spoiler
Yeah.
cast of it.
That'd be cool. I'd be
Yeah.
down. You guys have all beaten it, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck, I'm so far behind. Thank you guys for not spoiling it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're
I'm so
welcome.
excited. I feel like I'm so close. I
there's
have
so-
to be.
There's so many things that I've seen in the Persona 5R trailers.
Okay, so I'm not
that I
going to
wanna
touch
spoil.
any of those. I am not going to watch any of those.
Yeah, good call there.
I'm so
I
close.
just want to talk about them so bad.
Yeah, same here.
So it's like I'm on the casino. I'm on that one, and then I have you guys are saying one or two more. So I'm hoping it's just one more, and then post game.
Are you talking about the ship one, Tyler?
That's his next one.
Yeah, that one's long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's hard, dude.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
that
I'm
one's
level
pretty
50.
tough.
I'm level
I remember
50 right
that
now.
one.
Yeah, I actually hadn't thought about it until then.
That one actually, for a while, I went a couple palaces without dying, and then I died like 3 times.
And there's some interesting stealth mechanics that are kind
Oh,
of
God.
Like
The
kind of gets you
one-off
like.
stealths or the boy.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Like,
Yeah.
I think at one point in time, Tyler was like, "You just got the worst choice of personas equipped right now," and I'm like,
Oh.
You gotta go back, man. That's why I was doing the twins. I got one more for social rank, and then once I hit that, any persona I confuse. So I feel like I'm gonna be pretty set.
My favorite persona got me through towards the end. Thor.
Oh, Thor's really good. He's top tier.
Got
He's always
me
like
through.
Thor's really always end game. That's really cool.
I don't know if I ever had a Thor.
I'm not sure if I ever used Thor either.
There's Thor, Trumpeter is always every Persona game is the one of the end tier personas. There's Satan or Lucifer, Satan, depending.
I literally can't remember one that I used. I mean, it was almost
like-
2 years ago now, but
Yeah, the one that I used the most, it was like this big fat like elephant looking guy.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I used him a lot.
Because he could deflect
Yep.
physical
Yeah,
attacks.
I've got a bunch of those. It's sick. I
And
love
he was
getting the
so good.
skills. Just
Yeah.
deflect fizz when they like do that to you and you hit them and then it just goes back on them and they explode.
Yep.
That's the best.
What a game.
Oh, come on, finish it. So close. We got so many
Alright.
girlfriends.
If nobody's got anything else to add, we can move on to the part of the show where we talk about stuff that's been happening that we like to call.
Cruising for news and
Nicely done, nicely done. All right, it is
that-
cruising for a news and
That was a tune-up on the car.
we had some big stuff happen this week, starting to heat up a little bit. You know, we've had some slower weeks in the past. So first of all, this weekend was EVO in Las Vegas. If you don't know, it's a fighting game tournament that happens every year where people come from all over the world
Evil
to compete in the kind of most popular fighting games of the moment. So the games that were played this year, and I'm going to read the winners here. So if you don't want to hear that, maybe mute it for the next minute. MK Leo won in Smash Ultimate with Joker. Tekken 7, we had Arslan Ash win with Kazumi. Street Fighter 5, we had Bonchan win with Karen, and forgive me, I'm probably messing up a couple of these names. Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, we had Shinku win with Ruby and Yang. Mortal Kombat 11, we had, of course, Sonic Fox winning with Cassie Cage. Samurai Showdown, Infiltration winning with Genjiro. Dragon Ball Fighters, there were 6 names, and I didn't feel like writing them all down, but we had Goichi defeat Sonic Fox in a really thrilling series. I think that was my moment of the show.
I think he used, what was it? Because I know from the refresher we watched it, you showed it. It was like Bardock, Kid Goku GT, and then he used, what was his third one? It wasn't Kid Buu, that was Sonic Fox. Super Saiyan Goku base.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, base Super Saiyan Goku.
Okay, cool, thanks. And then Soul Calibur 6, we had Yototo playing as Voldo. I'm just going to skip that other one because I don't even know how to pronounce it. So yeah,
I
this
don't know
was
what that was.
this was my first year really kind of being into fighting games, trying to get good at them, being okay at them. And this was a lot of fun. I like the announcing is really second to none from what I've seen in esports. I haven't watched a whole lot, so I guess I can't. It's probably good most of the time, but they do such a good job of hyping it up, explaining what you're seeing, giving backgrounds on the players' histories, that even if you're not into games in general, I feel like you could definitely get enjoyment out of this, just because there's, it's so simple to watch. You got a life bar, you know who's winning. So I know you guys, I had invited you over on Saturday night, and you all turned me down to watch
I invited
MK11.
you over.
I know, but I was already had a few
Yeah,
beers and
understandable.
yeah. And you invited me over just because I wasn't. It was a sad moment.
I'm sorry. I was like, I have people here. I was like, if you want to come over, you're welcome to.
No,
Everybody's tired. I was
I
tired.
appreciated it, but
I was in bed by 1. I was a good boy.
that's cool. No, dude,
One.
the Mortal.
That's really for me.
Yeah, same. Mortal Kombat 11 on the weekend for sure. Mortal Kombat 11, the tournament went till 3, and I was just in the point where I was like, yeah, I'm in this. I don't have to wake up early tomorrow. Screw it.
You were committed.
Yeah, so I watched the whole top 8 of that. It was a pretty good time. It was a little bit too much. There's a very familiar meta right now, and there's not a huge amount of character diversity. Saw a lot of Geras, saw a lot of Jackie, saw a few Cassie Cages. The winner was Sonic Fox using Cassie Cage, who's just unbelievable. He also came in second in Dragon Ball Fighters and 33rd in Soul Calibur 6. Wow. Yeah. So even though that was my favorite game, I think I got to say I had more fun watching Samurai Showdown and Dragon Ball Fighters, which were the other two that I gave a substantial amount of time to. Samurai Showdown it was just such a mind game. The game has a really limited move set, but it's so focused on parries and just knowing the exact moment and reading what you think your opponent's going to do. And it's really exciting when you knock the sword out of the opponent's hand and they can still fight back and they can get the sword back, but like it's kind of like an item in Smash Bros or something, but it's very important. And you can still do okay without it. Like there were some players that still won after being disarmed, but
Oh wow.
so yeah, I enjoyed my time watching that. Did you guys watch any besides the few videos?
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
No, I did not.
Negative.
Okay. Well, That's a shame. Oh well.
Oh no, I definitely. It's one of the trending videos on YouTube. So I'm.
Yeah, I mean,
there's
it's still up there. You guys should check it out if you're into fighting games at all. Any of the ones I mentioned, they do play other games at the show. They're just not on the main stage, so they don't get as highlighted.
Definitely.
So yeah, so moving on from that, we had a big story involving Ninja, who you might have heard of him. He's a very famous Fortnite streamer.
He's got blue hair.
Is it blue?
Right now it is, I think.
Changes it with his mood.
I think he changed it to match the mixer color.
Mixer's blue?
Mixer, yeah. The
Oh.
logo's blue.
Oh,
I like a light blue.
I thought he's had blue hair for a while.
Oh, I don't know. I just saw him recently. That's all.
All
I
right.
don't follow
Remember him
him
from
like
New
that.
Year's Eve? He's like, everybody floss, and then no one in the crowd is doing it. And he's just like, come on, guys, everybody's flossing. Everybody in the crowd's just like, what are you doing?
That sounds very
Everybody's doing
cringeworthy.
it.
Where was that?
It was New Year's Eve, like in
Oh.
Times Square. They like had, I think like Ninja was hosting it, or he was like, I don't know, DJing or something. I just remember that one shot on TV. I like looked over and it's just
It's like, maybe
doing
I'm
this,
not-
and
maybe
everybody
I'm not.
down there is just looking at him.
The most famous person in the world. So anyway, he is a big Twitch streamer, one of the biggest, and he signed an exclusivity deal, which I don't know if it's the first of its type. I guess I should have looked that up, but I think it might be. So he's going to be exclusively on the Microsoft-owned Mixer. Amazon owns Twitch. It has a 72% market share on gaming streaming. Mixer has only 3%, so
Wow, bold move.
it's a bold move. He must have gotten a massive payday. I don't think that they've made that number public yet, but he did make 500,000 subscribers in one day. So please like and subscribe.
That's insane. Just from switching over to Mixer, like.
Yeah, so I mean, that's where you
So
got to
if
watch
the-
him now.
That's right. The Twitch users are like
Yeah.
probably all right.
So it was also the top of the most downloaded app, the Mixer app on, I don't know if it was either iOS or Android or both.
Dang, it's crazy.
So yeah, and I read
person.
another interesting article in Forbes that seems to be theorizing that they're going to push Ninja hard into streaming Halo Infinite, which, you know, it'd be so interesting to learn the terms of this deal. Like, does he get to choose what games he plays or does he not? Like,
That would suck if he doesn't. That's just being
Yeah, I
the
don't
soulless.
know.
Like gaming's not fun anymore. Gaming's my job.
well,
Well, I mean,
it
I
is
guess
his
depending
job.
on how, depending on how you look at it, yeah, because it is
Yeah.
his job either way. But it's like, well, I don't get to choose what I play.
Yeah.
I mean, he put out this like whole like produced video to like announcing him switching. Like it was just obviously a well produced video saying, and what do you say? He wants to get back to his streaming roots.
What does that mean?
I don't really
Which
know what that means.
I think what it means is what the article's saying is that he used to start out by streaming Halo.
Yep.
And that's, you know, I can definitely see it. Like, why wouldn't they? It would be like, hey, you can choose 50% of the games you want to play, but you're going to have to play at least, 20 hours a week of Halo Infinite.
Yeah,
Which-
I mean, that makes sense when it comes out because like I mean, the one big thing they're pushing for.
Yeah, because I know he did get paid $1 million to pay Apex Legends on launch day. So
Wow.
this type of thing isn't unprecedented. But now, I don't know if a contract thing has been. I'm so curious to know about, like, is it 4 years, 24 million, or what? Like, it might even be more than that.
The details would definitely be interesting to.
Because it's like it's literal. We're having these streaming and esports people like get more and more money now. It's becoming more and more recognized as a legitimate form of entertainment. So yeah, what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it had to have been a huge deal to think about. Because, I mean, most people have Amazon Prime, and you can give your Prime subscription to people, and I think Ninja's got over, like 2 million, subscribers on Twitch or something like that, and
So that's $5 a
$5
month for 2 million.
yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
There had to be something in play that would like cause him to go from, like you said, it's a 70-something% market share versus 3. Like Microsoft must have been like, okay, here's this.
Yeah, like it must have been a hell of a pitch. So it's like
Yeah.
like how they got like LeBron on the Lakers or something like. Or,
You're gonna get your own line of bubblegum. You're gonna get like Space Jam 3 is gonna be Ninja. You're gonna get your own Fortnite T-shirt and just come on. And he was probably like, yes, sign me up.
Another crazy thing, I probably mentioned this last week because we talked about the Fortnite competition, but he didn't qualify for that.
Really?
Yeah, so like he's really really good. I've watched some of his streams, but
He's not that good.
He's not that good.
he's not as good as those.
He was there, though. He was at the competition.
Yeah.
It shows you don't have to be good to be famous.
Yeah, well, he's good.
Eh?
Yeah, but it shows
you don't have to be that good.
you don't have to be like pro level.
Gotta get blue
Um,
hair.
So yeah, and now we're gonna get a little bit serious. There were a couple tragic shootings this week. One in El Paso, Texas. One in Dayton, Ohio. I actually used to live in a town just a few miles south of Dayton, Ohio. I still have friends in Dayton. I had to send out a few "Are you okay?" texts, and thankfully everybody I knew was. But it's still very scary, terrible situation, and thoughts are with the victims. I wish that we were in a position where we could do more, except for advocate for them. Like I really say this like every time that something might actually be done and to make it harder for people to get these weapons. I am an advocate for stricter gun laws. Comfortable saying that. I definitely think that it's ridiculous how easy it is to get these weapons of war. And the story. So anyway, it's hard to talk about, to be honest.
It's very rough. There's you can go back and forth, different arguments. Stricter gun laws, looser gun laws doesn't matter what the person has, if they have a track record or whatever, if they get it in their hands before or after. But nonetheless, it is tragic, and it shouldn't be happening. Like we live. It's 2019. Like there's no need to go out and shoot up a bunch of people. What are you trying to prove? That is absolutely psychotic. There's no need for it.
And it's getting worse. It's just becoming more and more regular. It's I was at the Y the other day, on the treadmill. Mm-hmm. The El Paso shit was splashing on 3 of the TVs. Mm-hmm. Nobody was giving a shit.
Yeah, it's also, I think the medias, they're choosing to focus a lot more now. Over the past couple years, I feel like there's been an increased media focus on any kind of mass shooting or some kind of mass terror attack. I mean, it is good to raise awareness of it, but I feel like the media putting such a huge spotlight on it and being like, oh, this is happening to some people. They wake up, they watch the news, and that's the only thing they hear, and they're like, oh, I don't want to see this anymore, and they try to push it off. It's after a while that just starts to sink in, and hopefully the message will get out there that it's all right, fucking knock it off. But after a while, I feel like just making it a bigger deal.
I mean, it's a very hard,
positives and negatives.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a hard line for the media to cross because they are covering it in part because people like looking at the accidents on the side of the road. They want to know what's happening. As messed up as that is to say, but it gets views. It is something that it's politically relevant because we always are at that impasse where it's is something actually going to happen? And I hope it does. But anyway, so getting on to the story, this is a quote from the president, Mr. Donald Trump. We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace. It is too easy for troubled youth to surround themselves with a culture that celebrates violence. We must stop or substantially reduce this. And then he also says, we must recognize that the internet has provided a dangerous avenue to radicalize disturbed minds. I do agree with that. He said, likely in reference to the fact that the El Paso shooter apparently shared a manifesto on the forum 8chan before the shooting, which was super racist against Hispanics and just filled with vitriol and fear-mongering and just complete bullshit. And so the story goes on. Trump's comments about video games follow a wider trend among top Republican leadership who have recently used video games as a scapegoat for mass shootings. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy and Lieutenant Texas Governor Dan Patrick both made comments this weekend that mentioned video games as a factor contributing to mass shootings. Patrick said that the El Paso shooter referenced Call of Duty in his manifesto. I don't know if that's true or not. I should have done a fact check on that. While McCarthy implored the government to do something about the video game industry. What do we think before I go on to the follow-up story that I put in here? Is there any sort of validity to these types of...
It's a topic that's been going it's been going both ways, and it's been all in the media. It's been covered year after year. When the first big incident happens, it's a person or a parent, someone, a victim or something. A big advocate goes to blame Grand Theft Auto, or you blame something like that. But it's at the end of the day, who's buying these games for their kids? Who is the one? It's also I think it's a big responsibility of the parent. For kids that if it's the argument is for a younger crowd. Like you're a parent, supervise your kids, see what they're playing, like watch what they're buying, watch what they're doing on the internet if they're of a certain age or below a certain age. But when you come of a certain age, obviously, 18 plus, you're able to buy these on your own, and you can take what you will of media, but it really depends on the person.
Yeah, and these weren't under 18-year-old shooters.
Yeah, these are like
they're
older.
adult. Like I forget how old the El Paso one was. The Dayton shooter was I think 22. And we all play them. We all like the violence. We do tend to glorify it. I mean, we like we see a fatality in Mortal Kombat and we react like, oh, that was so dope.
Yeah, but just because I see a fatality in Mortal Kombat doesn't mean I'm gonna go rip spines out.
No, of course not. Of course not. But then there's more like, what about in the Call of Duties where you're like actually using realistic guns? You're going for headshots.
So I think I personally think that using video games as a scapegoat is such an easy way out. It's here you're not having any conversations what traumas these individuals have gone through that led them to this point that they had to go become violent against a certain group. What was their upbringing? Like there's so many factors that video games is like a 1%, 2% of the influence on this person's psyche.
That's a good way to put it.
So out of the 100% of what led this person there, video games is 2%, maybe. All the violence they surround themselves with that, movies, TV shows. For Christ's sake, we see, the mass shootings. If believe it or not, when you think about it, they air it so much, and it's on the clock, round the clock.
That's what I was trying to get at earlier.
That is also a way of like
about
glorifying the violence. Yes, you're making it known, but it's always there. And so some people who are outcasts, who are ignored, think that this is the only way to ever be seen.
Wow.
They think it's a way of glorifying
it's a way to be heard for the first time in their life. Like they haven't been heard for 22 years. Maybe I should go on a shooting spree, and maybe finally people are gonna pay attention to what I've been saying for all my life. So it's like a gift and the curse. So there's so much going on, and then you look at the stats. Video games are all over the world.
Exactly.
So why aren't the mass shootings higher everywhere else?
Yeah.
Why is it only here?
So this is a quote from Dan Stapleton, writer at IGN. He's been there forever. He's like the reviews editor.
Yep.
Countries like Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand are all immediately comparable to the U.S. in that they all share a common language and to some degree all share a large amount of popular culture. All of them have a large gaming market, and here at IGN we see significant readership from those countries. And yet, while none of them is completely free from horrific gun massacres, New Zealand being the most recent victim of a racially motivated attack, the rates of mass shootings per capita in all those countries are dramatically lower than that of the United States, which is definitely the truth. Yep, I guess that's all I have from that story. So it's a distraction. That's what it is. I mean, they see it and they find out they use the images that are shocking and like especially to those that don't play games. Say like, well, look at what they're doing. Like, and they're not desensitized like we are. Like they like we play Doom, we play Mortal Kombat, we play Call of Duty, and like we might wince or something once in a while, but we're not like or like a lot of
because that's what they did with that was like a big marketing thing for Dead Space 2 when that first came out. It's like, oh, mom's played Dead Space 2, and they're like, oh god, who is this scary alien? But it's like you pick a random like lady off the street. It could be like, I don't know, someone's like 72-year-old grandma, and be like, ma'am, what do you think of this? And how our youth are reacting to it. This is what they're being exposed to every day, and it's the one fatality with the guy, one of the DLC guys from Mortal Kombat, where his stomach gets ripped open and it's all the guts and everything hanging out.
You're thinking about hypothetical right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's like, and then she sees that, and like, 'cause even the first time I saw that fatality, I was like, ooh, that's metal. I was like, that's intense. It's very detailed, but it's like, surprise, some sweet old 72-year-old in the street just be like, oh, she's gonna be like, oh, whole world's going to hell, And
I will say, I don't think that there should be, like, I understand if a publisher sells to a developer, this is too far. Like, we don't want to put this out because we think it's irresponsible. And like, maybe you're not like a line was crossed with something like the No Russian Mission Call of Duty, which I thought was kind of not great taste. It was intense or whatever, but I felt, and I guess this was maybe their intention. They were trying to make your stomach turn a little bit, but that's a little like comes off to me as a little try hard and not
Yeah, too far.
yeah. I mean, I don't
Too
want
far for the point.
Too far for the point. I don't like you should. That is something I could see like a lawmaker having a legit point about. Like, look at this scene in a game where you're running through an airport, like shooting a bunch of civilians. But
Yeah, that is.
yeah, you know, like I wouldn't want my kid playing that for sure.
I'll go back to, remember we went back, we'll go back to one of our earlier episodes where I talked about stop using the video games and the tablets as a form of distraction. These video games carry ratings, a mature rating. So why am I going online in Call of Duty and hearing a 12-year-old playing Call of Duty online? You know, like it's
Because they're gonna beg, and they said my friends got it.
My
and
friends got it, but be responsible. You know, if you think your kid's not mature enough to handle this violent game, don't put it in their hands. You know, it's so like I said.
Well, you wait a few years, man. It's hard. Like,
Oh, mine, he knows. Like I send him to. I'm playing Mortal Kombat. I'm like, you can't watch this. Go to your room. Like I'm already aware of it. Like I know what games I can or can't play around them. What games they can see. I know how the maturity level of both my kids. My stepdaughter's 11, but extremely mature. So I allowed her to watch a little bit of the Friday the 13th while I was playing. You know, but I know why, because she's not gonna go throw a hockey mask on and go start, you know, yoking up kids and stabbing them with a machete. Like, I'm not saying my kids, my son's a psychopath, but I'm just saying, you know, he's 7. I don't need to expose him to violent games. He plays Sonic in his bedroom. He plays Skylanders. He plays those games.
That's cool.
More games geared to his age.
how old is he?
7.
Okay, so when I was 12 or 13, maybe, I begged my mom to get the original Halo. I had played it at my friend Jerry's house. I fell in love with it. I made a post on the IGN message boards asking everybody to convince my mom to let me get it.
That's awesome.
And it got, I think, 150 replies.
That's
It was back when the
amazing.
message boards on IGN were super, super active.
That's awesome.
And
That's pure like Christmas magic. Like just being like, guys, help me convince my mom.
so yeah, and you know, I was a little taken aback at how many people were like, "You should trust your mom. She probably knows what's best for you." But then like half of them were like, "Oh, it's not bad. The blood is like purple and blue, and you're a hero," and stuff like that. And she came around. I never gave up, and you know, it's one of my favorites of all time. But
My brother got me Grand Theft Auto 3 with the PS2. Granted, he monitored how long I played and when I played. But,
how many times you hit the old lady with the baseball bat?
you know, I will say no, not even. Like we would go on these little missions. We would not even do missions. We'd go on these little
Killing
personal
sprees.
killing sprees.
Yeah,
together.
that's what everybody did.
So we would go see how we would time it, see how long
You can last with the 6 stars.
Yep.
and we go back and forth, and you don't see me going crazy.
Well,
you know,
of course.
But you know, it's like I say, it's such a small percentage that has such an influence on. I don't think it would suck if they start trying to put these laws to try and restrict the video game companies from being creative, and you know, and they have to follow these guidelines and no blood or no shooting, you know.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy my video games. I enjoy the freedom, you know, because it's an escape from my 8 to 4 or my 9 to 5 job.
Right.
You know, I like put the kids to bed. The wife is asleep, and I'm like, all right, you know, I'm gonna play some Call of Duty.
I think
I'm gonna play some
censorship like
Gears,
that could
you know?
be harmful as well, because it's like, oh, look,
Extremely.
you're playing, you know, like a sword fighting game, and it's like you're seeing all these people get slashed, and it's like, well, there's no blood or anything, you know, because it's been censored out, or you know, someone's getting shot and there's no blood, or you know, they totally take it out. But like, you know, what's gonna happen once somebody sees that for real, or you know, obviously it's gonna be.
I don't think
Any blood or gore from in real life is going to be different than seeing it digitally or in the game space, but it's also, you know, being too overly sensitive can be
Yep.
harmful
Can
as well.
be harmful. Yep.
I don't think we'll see anything come from it. Maybe a few more, you know, disclaimers on the ESRB box. Maybe a larger.
Detailed box.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could see something like that happening. But I mean, they've been trying for 30 years.
Yes,
Yeah,
they have.
It's
to,
been an ongoing battle.
Yeah, like they were showing fatalities from like MK1 and 2 on the Senate floor back in the day.
Yeah, they were.
So
And then Night
now,
Trap.
now I want them to show
Well,
the new one.
you know, that did lead to the ESRB ratings. You know.
True. So there, you know, there has been.
And all the blood taken out of the Super Nintendo version.
True that.
You know,
I think Nintendo also.
Nintendo
Yeah,
definitely
they're
weren't.
definitely very
Yeah.
family friendly.
Although they've definitely become a lot laxer this gen.
Yeah, I was really surprised they let Kill la Kill go on as the Switch. There's so many boobies, there's so many things hanging out, so much suggestive content.
All right.
I love it.
So, got a little serious there. Thanks for sticking with us if you are still with us.
Hentai.
All right. So the last story, this is completely unrelated. So, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's this guy. He's been in the games commentary business for a long time now, 10 plus years. His name's Colin Moriarty. He was at IGN for nearly a decade. He started Kind of Funny with Greg Miller, Tim Geddes, Nick Scarpino back in 2015. He was there for a couple of years. He's always been a Republican. I tend to think that he's definitely a libertarian Republican. He's pretty reasonable. Like, I'm a liberal. He is definitely intelligent. He expresses his views in ways that are thoughtful. I've listened to his content for a long time, despite disagreeing with a lot of his political opinions. But he's kind of become the black sheep of the game industry, which is very left-leaning. And so he made this tweet back in early 2017, a very silly, slightly offensive tweet on National Women's Day. So the tweet, everybody was saying, a day without a woman, so imagine this and this wouldn't be possible, or this and this wouldn't be possible, or sort of this. I can't remember the exact theme of it, but anyway, what he tweeted was, "A day without a woman, peace and quiet." That was it. That was
he
it.
was very pun about it, like peach and quiet,
What?
So
did I miss it?
you put the actual.
Oh
what
no,
is it?
I misspelled
peace?
it.
Okay, I was
yeah,
about
it
to
was
say,
peace and quiet.
I thought peach and quiet. I'm like, like you pun like Peach from Mario.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It made
I'm gonna
made
go main
sense.
Peach all day.
It made sense to me,
No, so he just said peace and quiet, just the old joke that women talk too much, and sure, it was lame, not that funny, but the amount of hate that he got, it's completely just and it led to him, and of course there were some other things going on that I'm sure we still don't know the full story, but Kind of Funny, the rest of them kind of turned
Disowned him.
yeah, a little bit. He made the decision to leave on his own. I do think that that's true. And since then, he made political videos for a while. They're pretty informational, pretty, they're biased towards his opinion, but he tries to remain objective, I think. But anyway, he's got his right-wing beliefs, and they do show. So anyway, he is banned from PAX West. That took a long time to say that, but without an explanation. And I don't say, I guess he isn't banned, but he had a planned panel with his very successful PlayStation-focused podcast called Sacred Symbols. Him and his co-host, Chris Maldonado, who's another YouTuber. So yeah, he didn't expect anybody to report on it. Kotaku actually did write a story. So I thought this was a little unfair, the way that they took this quote. So this is a quote from Chris Maldonado. Fan bases are inherently kind of obsessive, so I don't really believe our fan base is any more toxic than any other fan base I've encountered. Maldonado told Kotaku when asked about criticisms that his fan base can be toxic. Nevertheless, an example of the kind of climate that critics of the panel were discussing, a low-profile tweet celebrating the cancellation was quote tweeted by Maldonado, who has over 180,000 Twitter followers, and quickly met with people calling the original poster retarded, a dumb fuck, and the king of autism. Which, yeah, messed up, but you have 180,000 Twitter followers, and you're going to claim that just because a few people replied to your thread and you're going to feature it in this article, it's misconstruing them. I honestly think that they're good guys. I don't appreciate the fact that the show was canceled. People, especially people that went out of their way to see them specifically, they're not offering any refunds. Colin's offering 22 different, I think he said 22 different $55 refunds for the people that were going to see him out of his own pocket.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, because at PAX West, you're not only paying for, you're going to see that one panel, but PAX West also has a bevy of other things you can go there for. So it's not like, it does suck that your panel that you were going to go see got canceled.
Yeah.
But, there are also other things at PAX you can do. But it does suck if you were going to see them specifically.
Yeah, totally. Which, probably a small subset that we're going exclusively for them.
No, for sure.
But still, it's just shady. I don't like the sort of gatekeeping that's going on.
Conventions, yeah, that's a big thing now. I mean, certain people. I mean, I think some of the venues do it, like the PAX West for this. I mean, there's other places like PAX East have done it. I think it's one to avoid any controversy or any kind of debacle or bad event that could happen at the panel. Like maybe someone decides to just be a real asshole and like start throwing stuff or be a real big dick to one of the guys on the panel, and that becomes a whole thing. I think part of it is just to like nip it in the bud, so to speak. Like they really just want to douse the fire before it even gets going. And
I'm not saying that they have to allow anybody to have a panel that's popular. I agree with like if they have views that you find highly offensive or something that you think is just going to cause more controversy than it's worth, it's your right as a venue to not let them be there. But that's not Colin, dude. Like he is seriously, like he is measured. He like encourages people to be nice to each other on his shows a lot. Like he said, he really does get a bad rap, and it's
it just goes to show you really have to be careful with what you say, because people can take it 8 ways from Sunday.
True.
You can be strewn out and taken a whole bunch of different ways nowadays. It sucks. You have to really, really be careful about what you say, because it's you could be saying one thing and people will take it one way because they know you're saying it how you mean it or how they want you to take it, and then 25 other people who are like within earshot or watch you online could take it a whole other different way that you don't mean. And it just sucks because everybody's so sensitive.
Yeah.
For a generation that grew up with like Family Guy and South Park, I'm really surprised at how sensitive everybody is now about things like that.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues with this story was just about how PAX handled the entire thing, because he was approved for his panel and then was told to advertise and market and invite all of his following. And then out of nowhere sent him an email saying, sorry, you can't come anymore.
Like I got one paragraph email with no explanation and saying like real dickishly, sorry for any inconvenience.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Very much. You just told me to go promote this to like 100,000 people that follow me. Just now I got to go and be like, sorry.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for him, and he actually has been getting a lot of support because of it.
That's good. I hope would turn out positive with that. But
yeah, and I mean I've been listening to him since Podcast Beyond, which is just the PlayStation show on IGN, since like a long time ago, like in 2015. This is kind of funny. I was gonna send Colin and Greg these maracas because for $5 you could have like maracas made, and I was a big fan of the show. It says Colin and Greg on them. It says Beyond on them, an exclamation point, which they always say. And then I found out they were leaving IGN, like as I was coming back and starting Kind of Funny. So they were leaving Beyond. I never got to send them to them. I like mentioned them in a tweet, and I have like 7 followers or something. You should
send it to them anyway now. Be like, hey, just tell them the story. Be like, I got these guys. I got these for you, and you were in Beyond, and you left IGN. So I was like, I held on to them, but now I want you guys to have them.
Yeah, well, they're not like even friends anymore. So
ooh,
I know that's sad.
Did you get both of their names on each?
We'll just send one to one. Yeah, they're both on each.
Okay. Well, maybe like take a marker and scribble out the other one's name, and like.
Nah, I don't know. Maybe
I could paint it for you.
Yeah, Wiley, who you like better?
Send it to both individually.
I could send it to one and just like say it's from the other one and get them back together.
You could. You could be behind the music, except behind the gaming.
That'd be funny.
Friendship maracas.
All right.
Do it.
So.
Do it.
Moving on from that. Who added this story?
Oh, the Zelda story.
Yeah.
This Genshin Impact story.
Yeah, you want to? Does you?
Yeah, I can talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So apparently, where was this at the China Joy Gaming Expo, tons of Zelda fans protested over a very similar looking Chinese game for PlayStation called Genshin Impact. It was being called basically the anime Zelda. There's tons of photos being shown, people flipping off the booth where this new Genshin Impact game was being displayed. And I guess even despite all the protesting, it was still like one of the most popular booths at this expo.
In China?
In China, yep.
And
I guess Genshin Impact. What's that?
Sorry, I was just reminding myself what it was called.
So yeah, people are like saying that they have allegedly just copied Breath of the Wild, and I mean, I saw some screenshots and some videos that like we were looking at earlier, and the art style is very similar. Some of the like enemy designs are very similar. Like the animations were like gliding, swimming.
The environment
and,
looked exactly like
it's
Hyrule Field does.
It is very similar, which was really weird to see.
So we're
So
seeing
I
a
guess-
lawsuit coming soon?
I think we'll probably be seeing a lot more change in the delay. 'Cause
Yeah, I don't know.
in the reveal trailer, it said spring 2020. But I think if things get like blown up with it, or this becomes more in the spotlight, I think Nintendo might even try to go in and be like, "Hey, you know, we got something like that. It's called Legend of Zelda. Don't know if you've heard of it, but you can glide too, and you're not an anime girl. You look like an anime girl, but you're not a girl. There's a whole cross-dressing mission, but whatever."
Yeah,
But-
that was bad.
but the environment looks exactly like right when you get out, like on the Great Plateau, like by the Temple of Time, like the
Yeah.
screenshot or the video we watched from there looks the environment looks the same. Characters are a
Yeah.
little different, and enemies more so. There's like goblins, things that look like bokoblins. The robot you fight looks like a guardian, but on two legs and like a bigger robot. The gliding animation I think is almost like the exact same. It's very very similar.
But it looked like they had some special like attack techniques where it was like a cutscene type of like attack or whatever.
Yeah, like a big like a
area.
special attack. I mean, that's good. Like the character designs look different. Like it's all anime girl, so it's different. But I mean, other than that, it looked very similar to the environments. But the
So
cover looked
you're
cool.
picking it up day one then, I
Oh
assume?
yeah, obviously. I'm gonna pre-order right now. Actually, right after the podcast, I'm heading down to GameStop.
Zelda on the PlayStation? Why not?
Yeah, might as well. Hey,
There is
yeah.
that one game that is on Switch that's also super influent. It's like, it's Link to the Past inspired, so maybe it comes off as like, oh, lots of people have done that, but it's called Blossom Tales, I think. It sold 20 times as much on Switch than it did on Steam, so it got that like Nintendo bump because it was so similar to Link to the
Blossom
Past.
Tales.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wasn't that's not that other game that was at E3 with like the fox or whatever that was like a link to the past, like a Zelda type looking game? No, that's not.
I don't think so.
can't remember what that
I
game
hope
was
I'm
called.
not remembering the name of the game wrong.
I can't remember what that other game was called though. But you know what game I'm talking about with the fox with the sword.
Oh, Ori?
No, I can't remember what it was called.
Mm.
But it was hyped up a lot.
There's there's a Wind Waker clone called Oceanhorn that's on all
Oh, yeah.
systems. That's takes a lot from Wind Waker,
Mhm.
which is supposed to be pretty good. It's $15, I think.
Wow.
But guys, it's been a long one. I think anyway. Sometimes I usually get the episode lengths wrong, but
We went through a lot of stuff. We
yeah.
had our highs, we had our lows. We got pretty deep for a while. It was emotional.
And so again, thanks for watching. Does anybody have anything else they want to say? Now's the time. Forever hold your peace. This is the last time it's going to be episode 14.
Ever.
know.
Oh, this is the last episode 14.
Unless-
Last episode 14.
Unless we decide to do seasons instead of like episode 300 and something.
Well, it's still going to be a number episode.
Yeah, it'll be like higher up.
No,
than
so
14.
you're saying we could have season 2, episode 14? I guess it's possible.
No, I
guess
don't like that. I want to keep on growing that number.
Yeah.
bumping up those
Yeah,
numbers,
same here.
rookie numbers.
Yeah, you right?
What if we get a new?
Up, 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 up.
No, it's not going to happen. We'll just support.
Anyway,
Anyway, yeah. Like, share, subscribe, please. Leave us a review on iTunes or on Podcast Addict or on
Where are you two?
wherever you consume us.
Remember those questions for next week
Yes, please. Questions next week.
for our
all right,
mailbag.
Anthony, sing us out.
Ba, 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 ba. Indiana Jones, something. Da, 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 da.
Thanks for watching the Level With You show.
Goodbye.
Hit him with the outro, Anthony.